to TCP Masterclass. This is where we show you how to use the Conversion Pros to make you look like a pro. We've done several of these, but we keep adding new features, new back office, things like that. And I see some people making a lot of mistakes on creating pages. And so what we want to do is make you a page building expert. Show you exactly what to do, how to do it better than what you're doing. See, a lot of you don't use all the features that we offer, and hopefully after this video you'll see a lot more features and use a lot of the features that you might not be currently using. I also, if I go too long on one video, I might break this up into separate videos just so there isn't one mammoth video, because there's just so much to cover. So let's get started. We're going to break this down. First off, to build a page, obviously you go on the left hand side here, TCP Marketing Suite, click on Page Builder. But before I even get into this, make sure you know where the trainings are. We have a Fast Start training here under the Resource tab, Fast Start, Training Videos, Tool Tutorials. So if you click on Tool Tutorials, it's a hard thing to say, you can actually find a landing page tutorial that actually walks you through every step, written. So you really can't go wrong there. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. All right, now what we're going to do first is we're going to click on Create a Page. Now, notice there are a lot of different templates that you can choose from, and you really now with the drag and drop, all you really need is the top four. You really don't even need all these other ones because you can just drag and drop things how you want. But let's show you some things here. First off, we're just going to pick, I always start with this basic template here. All right. Now, when you get started in Masterclass, I kind of like, you know, depending, some of you need templates to see where things are. I kind of like to build as I go, so a lot of times I'll just leave the headline at the top and I'll start deleting everything else just so I can kind of start from scratch. But some of you need these guides in there to use it, but I like to do that. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is, depending on what you're trying to build a page for, is click on Pick a Background. Okay, and we have so many backgrounds available to you. It's really insane how many we give you. So the thing about it is, though, is knowing which picture to use with each background. For example, if I click on this computer section, I'm going to show you something. Like on the template that I have right now chosen, things that that look on the left and right look better. For example, see how this computer's kind of offset to the left? If I choose this, and this is what it's going to look like on mobile, by the way. Some of you just leave it as is. You should really take a second to make it look like you're going to see it on mobile. Because remember, a monitor's 20 some inches to 30 inches now. Your phone screen is like 5 inches, so you want to do this. After you figure out what you want, hit confirm. Now notice this big box here is what we call the opacity box, and when you see it on a computer, you can actually hide this menu over here to the left to kind of see what it's going. Notice the computer looks really good because it's kind of offset. I want to go grab a different computer just to show you something, and this really comes into play on making good pages. So if I pick a background, let's say that has a computer more center, like this one, and I could hit this, and I hide the menu, you can see that this form, this big opacity box, will kind of, as you start adding stuff, kind of hide the computer a little bit behind all your words, writing, and everything like that. So on this template, I like to usually use pictures, again, that are a little bit more offset. Okay, again, what I mean by that is a picture that's more to the right or to the left. For example, let me just go grab a picture of, let's say, a person. Let's say I want businessman. Okay. So if I use this guy right here, looking all suave, again, I want to, sometimes even on the phone, I don't want it just centered. I might like that on the phone, you know? So I play with that. But here we go. And sometimes these images are big, so you're not even going to see it. You got to play with the images. But notice that this form here this one actually isn't so bad the way he is, but it's going to cover a lot of him up. Versus, he probably wasn't the best choice to use. Let me try something else here. Let me grab this guy right here in the center. Okay, so when I hide my menu, you can see. So let me just drag in a form, for example, so you can see what's going to start to happen. Okay, now some of you, what's funny is, some of you say, man, this form is so big. I heard this a lot. Biz guy, let me just do this real quick. I'm just going to save the page. You got to really save title and save the page before you do anything. Also, notice that your page name needs to be one word, and it cannot start with a number, and you don't want to have any like explanation points or symbols in it. You can do all that in the title, but in the page name, because this is going to be part of your URL, it has to be all words. So I save it. It tells me it was saved. Okay, now watch. Edit. I'm just going to select the form here just so you can see how it changes. See, once you select the form you want, it changes, okay? But again, hide the menu. I hide the menu to see how this is going to look. Now, one of the things I do too is I always mess with this opacity. See how it's a very clear box in the background. Some of you don't do this, and it makes the text hard to read. So what we're going to do is I like to play with this opacity. Just watch what happens when I just go down into the blacks. It immediately, things pop off it a lot better. Then you could actually play with this tool. I mean, you could bring it all the way up if you want, but I like to kind of play it where you can still see my background through it, but you it makes things pop off the page. Now, if I edit the content here, and I'm just going to say make an executive income from home. All of you should also be reducing the size of this text. Even though we give you a template like this, it's really too big, especially on mobile. So what I'm going to do is I like to make it a little bit smaller. You can even, and some of you don't ever use this tool either, the italicize tool. The italicize tool is really cool. As you can see, it makes it a little bit different. Or you could come in here and play with different, fonts as well if you want. Okay? Make an executive income from home. I'm just throwing anything in here so we can fill this box up a little bit. We have people going from dead broke to top earner status in days, whatever. Okay, again, what I do, never leave it this big. Hit your style and start to reduce the text so it looks good. Okay, see that? Again, you could come in here and you could grab a different font if you want, whatever. But I want to reduce it so it looks good. You can change your colors and all that too. We're going to get into that. Then I'm going to say fill in this form for details. I always grab the big text and then just resize it, by the way. Whoop. Okay, now I'm gonna reduce that. Again, style. I reduce it like that. Now here's a couple things too. I like to break up the page a little bit. I want to add some color. I just don't want all white. So let's say I come over here, and maybe I want a lighter blue, just to pop off the page there. And then one of the things here, I want to show you this real quick. See this drop down arrow? When you drop down this arrow, you can actually grab the color code. So I'm just going to hit my mouse and copy that color code because I want to make the button the same blue. I only use basically 2 colors usually on a page. If you do any more, you look like you're Skittles or something. It starts to remove the professionalism. So a lot of you, what drives me a little bit bonkers too, is you always leave this button yellow. You never change it. You'll do blue up here and leave this button yellow. Why? We let you change it. Watch. Edit content. Or let me just hit here. Style button. Background. You see where it shows yellow? All I do is click on the yellow box. It pulls it up. I can highlight or just delete with my mouse. Just delete that and paste in the color code. Now, one thing you notice is there's a little bit of yellow still there. That's because we give the button what we call box shadow. And you see this top bar here? All you have to do is drag that bar even up. It goes away. Okay, or you can make it black or white and give it a glow effect. Also, some of you are afraid to change this. Take a free tour. Maybe I want to say get details. So I'll come down here to the button. And one thing is too, a lot of you don't use all caps. All caps look way better on capture pages. It just stands out better. Some of you do lowercase letters. Okay, so now you see this is not a bad looking page at all, right? But he's still kind of hidden in the background here, right? So how can we make this page better? So I can go into pick background. And go over here. And see, I might like one of these guys that are a little bit more offset to the left. Okay? This guy here to the left. So let's see how this looks. Again, I'm going to mess with the way it's going to look on my phone. And this page, actually, that's too big a picture. It's not working very good. So that's the thing. You got to play with some of these. I mean, I don't mind that, but on some templates, that's going to look really good. This one, it might not. So that's the other thing, is you got to play with the templates. This guy over here is to the right. Now remember, when you're editing mode, what you're forgetting about is if you hit the hide menu, you see how the form shifts. Well, he's still kind of hidden back here. I don't know if I'm a fan of that. So you can go up here to the far left and hit that button. And we're going to go hit pick background image again. And we're going to try this again. So we're going to look for one that makes a little bit more sense. This guy over here to the far left, I kind of like dig that. Scroll over here. Whoop. And we hit hide menu. Now look how good that looks. Okay, you see the difference between when you're using this template in particular. We have tons of pictures that offset things a little bit to the left or the right of the form. It makes your form stand out, and the picture actually looks really good. Where some of you just throw anything behind the box, and it makes your text it's real hard to read, especially when you guys are doing busy backgrounds. Let me show you that for a minute. Let's say, let me grab a city real quick. Go into a city. And there are very busy backgrounds like this here. And you can almost see how hard it is to read because it's a lot, right? So that's where you would mess with the opacity tool. So now we have this city. So on a page like this, that doesn't necessarily matter if it's left or right because it's all that. What I would do is come into the opacity tool and just darken this up. Now look at the difference that makes in a page. Remember too, the opacity allows you to go do different colors if you want. Say I want more of a navy blue color. You can mess with that, and look how cool that looks. The opacity tool literally will have you. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of possibilities. Let me show you another thing that some of you don't do as well to make a cool page. When I hit style on this, I can actually hit box shadows for this. Come down here, so I want black. And, well, actually, do I want a box shadow? That's not where we're working. Let me think. No, background is what I want. Hit black, hit choose, and you'll see that now it has a black box around that one text. So if I want to emphasize something right in the middle, I can do that. Okay, you just don't want to get weird, because I see people that will do this and instead they'll like make this red and then they'll make, you know, this like green. I mean, I guess sometimes that works, but I mean, when you get into too many goofy colors, to me it just doesn't work that good. I like to do a little bit more solids and then try to work with colors that work really well with each other. And you can see the difference here. But even on this city, for example, let me make this more of a dark blue here. And let me change that red color. It's not working for me. Okay, even on a city, I want to show you the pictures here. And then I think I'll cut this video short and we'll go into a couple more videos instead of doing like 1 hour long video. Even on a city, you could probably find stuff that's not as busy with this particular template. So, or something that's spaced out. You see how this is way to the left and way to the right? I think this would look pretty cool. I mean, unless you need a specific city. But now what this has done, like on this one right here, it's actually framed it in. Because the right's over here, the left's over here, and you got a background. And you got some space that's really framed that in. Maybe I would do black. Maybe even darken this up a little bit more. And then really have this pop out right in the middle. Okay? You see how nice that looks? And again, what am I doing? I'm opening it, this browser, I'm hiding it. I'm looking at it. I'm opening it up again. And I'm also doing stuff like this. I'm like, well, maybe I want these words italicized too. Okay? Maybe I want a different font in here. You know? So again, you want to go back and really play with your stuff because we give you all these cool tools that you could play with, right? And a lot of times too, my inspiration, like this page is actually looking pretty good. What I like to do is my inspiration comes from the background. You see all this blue in the background? You see how that, you know, pops in this page and just makes a better, more exciting looking page. So the opacity tool is huge, and many of you do not use it, okay? Because remember, let me show you what it looked like before. When you first open up a page, it looks a lot like this, and I think it's actually a little bit brighter, but it looks more like that. Okay, it's okay, but just by changing from a light white to a darker color, it really makes the text pop off the page where you can read it better. Obviously, people need to read your ad copy. If they can't read your ad copy, they're not going to opt in. And again, like this, even this here, I still want it darker. I still want to like amp it up a little bit. So it really pops off the page so you can read what I'm doing. You can still see the background, you still get the gist of it, but now we're doing this. And again, making your text smaller. I've seen some people come in and they literally are like doing stuff like this. And then they don't know why on mobile it looks terrible and their words are all off the page. It just doesn't work. When you do this, you could do it like this. Maybe on a computer it'll look all right, but on mobile it will look absolutely horrible because what you've done is you've bloated your text. You should really, I like to keep my text in around the font word, okay? Like right in the middle of the font word like that. It's kind of how I do it. So when I hit the font, I usually bring this back to around somewhere inside the font, and that works really good. Okay? And then like fill in the form details. I want this smaller, okay? I want my ad copy to be bigger. I don't need this to be, you know, this big. No, I want this small, and then it pops out. So the page has a hierarchy, so to speak. So I'll show you this video one, and then I'm going to go break down a lot of stuff in this masterclass. I might do several videos just so you know, really learn a lot.